Do you want to stop the universalists who are in cahoots with the globalists, the cultural Marxists, and the social communists from winning the culture war? Then take action today! Every super chat will help fight the battle in the never-ending culture war against those who want to take over our entertainment. That's why you need to like, subscribe, send thanks, and super chat. Make a random 42. Do you want the universalists to win? Of course you don't. So donate today.
Go ahead and download the video for what you think I'm going to say before I say it. I know you want to. I'm Mecca, and you see the thumbnail. And I haven't quite decided what I'm putting on there at this point, but this movie I really had to put my critic hat on for, and there's nothing I enjoy less when watching a movie than having to sit there and pay attention and put my critic hat on and pick apart and notice and pay attention to every little detail and every little subtext and every little subplot message and every little social conditioning sort of thing that they want to throw into these things. So I have to sit there and pay attention to, are there any whammons? Are there any diversities? Are there any political messages? Are there any of that sort of thing? So I am Mecca, and there's a whole lot about this movie to talk about. There's going to be a lot of spoilers here. So, how do I say anything about this movie? You know what? We got to bring in some backup. Who are you? Why are you here?
Hi, I'm Rob Robot Shlomo, and I'm here because my team lost today. My team?
You saw the Spider-Man movie.
Yes, I did. I saw the Spiderman. Spiderman? Yeah, it's Spiderman. They're plural.
There's
Spiderman.
two of them. No, there was three of them. So spoilers. Full spoil. We can't talk about this movie without spoilers.
Yeah, this is a spoiler.
And this is not there's just no way to not do a spoiler-free one on this one.
Well, like I said, it's spoiler. We can't do spoilers. So we saw the Spiderman movie. Spiderman.
Mm-hmm. There's three of them. All three of them.
Yeah, there's three of them. No, Miles Morales is not one of them. So
no, these are Peter Parkers. These aren't Miles Morales.
Exactly.
He wouldn't be in it.
Now,
there is a little message of when Jamie Foxx is like, "Oh, in Queens, I just thought there'd be a black Spider-Man, to look like me." So you think only black people live in poor areas of Queens or something? There was a whole racist dig like that.
There's plenty of white people that live in Queens. The Ramones were from Queens.
See, but they don't know that because this is written probably by a wokier than thou.
Yeah, well. Okay, so...
Jonah Jameson is literally Alex Jones in this.
Yeah, he's Alex Jones.
And there's this whole division of, some people think Spider-Man's a hero. Some people think Spider-Man's a killer. Which is it? And they're really playing up this polarization for about a minute in this movie. And then it gets kind of really good with the Doctor Strange bit. Yeah. I really like the Doctor Strange stuff.
I like the Doctor Strange stuff, too.
Yeah, and, there's a lot of fun in this movie. There's a lot of good in this movie. There's a lot of good
stuff in it, but at the same time...
there's also a lot of stuff to pick apart critic-wise.
Yes.
And it's kind of slow in the beginning, too. It's one of these... they really set it up like, okay, we're just saying goodbye to everybody, and this is like Endgame all over again, which I really don't personally enjoy in movies.
I mean, like I said, they set it up sort of that you're saying goodbye to the Peter you know, but at the same time, they're sort of setting it up so that he can carry. They're going to bring him back in some way. I mean, come on. You're gonna. Who does Marvel got left? Fisty McGee. Hi, I'm Fisty McGee, and I'm the greatest Muslim superhero that ever Muslimed. And I'm not knocking people who are Muslim.
That's her identity, and that's why she's there.
And hi, I'm America Chavez, and I'm a Latinx lesbian. But
back to the Spider-Man review, because I know you want to think about the next one.
Okay, but there was a lot of... Charlie Cox is back as Matt Murdock, Peter's lawyer, which means we're going to get more Daredevil. But there's this whole thing about...
That I'm sitting there like, I don't know.
But there's this whole, he wants to try to make everybody forget that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, because he keeps the big plot point of the movie is that because he's got all this controversy surrounding him, he's got all the conspiracy theorists who are mad at him because he killed the other guy in the last movie or something.
Yeah.
And so he's ruining everybody's life around him who knows who he is.
Yeah.
So they can't get into MIT because they know him, and there's controversy. So he's like, I wish I could everybody forget who I am. And then while you saw it in the trailer, while Doctor Strange is casting the spell, he's like, oh, but I want Aunt May to remember, and I want MJ to remember, and I need Ned to remember, and I need this and this and this and this and this. And then so it messes up the whole entire spell. Parts of this stuff kind of gets cracked, but then Doctor Strange puts a lid on it.
The multiverse gets cracked,
And then he puts a lid on it, puts it in a box, and hopefully everything's okay until it's not. Which you've seen in the trailer, where all the bad guys start coming in from the other dimension, which is less cool since we saw it in the trailer. I think it's less cool to see it.
Well, you would like to have been surprised, like, hey, what's Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus doing here? Hey, what's Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin doing here? Hey, what's the Lizard guy doing here? And his name is actually the Lizard, so it's not just a witty way of saying the Lizard. So, hey, what's Jamie Foxx's Electro doing here? And it's so we already know this, so the impact is diminished. But we do get to see the three Spidermen on screen together.
Did they do the meme thing though? They didn't do the meme shot.
No, they didn't. Where they're all pointing at each other.
Yeah, they missed the golden opportunity for that.
Well, that was in the end credits and the little animated thing.
Yeah,
with the De La Soul song 369 21518.
Who cares?
But who cares? But what I had a problem was with this movie is really good as a team up between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
That was good.
Those parts are really good. Seeing the banter between the two of them, don't call me
Steven. It's
weird. Don't call me Steven. It's weird. Don't call me Sir. He's sort of filling in the Tony Stark role in that Peter still needs somebody to look up to.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is one of those guys, and one of those more. He's got more wisdom, more knowledge in him, so Peter would naturally look up to him, look for him for solutions. But then Doctor Strange disappears in the middle of the second act. And doesn't reappear until the very end.
Well, they sent him to the Grand Canyon. They sent him away. Yeah. Ned ends up getting his the little magic-y thing, so Ned can open portals because he's like, oh yeah, my grandma says we're magic, and that's kind of cute. I like seeing some of that, but it just went on so long. So Ned opening the portals is how they're like, we want to see Peter. We don't know what happened to Peter because. This is the whole plot that kind of it really triggered my critic thing where the whole plot line of
inner Jay Sherman,
where the whole plot lines of all these guys who are coming in from the other dimensions, all the baddies, right? So your Dr. Octopus guys, your Green Goblins, your all these guys, he has to come in and he has to cure them with a jibber jabber in the one of those. And I'm like, oh, so you got Alex Jones selling supplements as J. Jonah Jameson, and you've got Peter being the good guy who has to cure people against their will with a jibber jabber in the old arm patootie there, and that's how he cures them, whether they like it or not, whether they want it or not. I'm like, oh, this is where my red flag starts going off. Like, this is a propaganda movie, isn't it? Right here with that and the little line of there should be a black Spider-Man stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, so they did it. They just did it less overt.
The justification for that was that if they just sent them back,
they would die. Yeah, because they pulled them out of the multiverse right the second before they died
fighting Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they explained that he goes, oh, I was about to roast his ass, and then I ended up here.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fun dialogue. It's, there's the little mild swearing, like Doctor Strange going, clean this shit up or whatever. Scooby-Doo this shit. That was what it was. Yeah, there's little swearing and little lines there that are cute. I mean, Aunt May and Peter. I love Aunt May and Peter. Yeah. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
There's so many little, like, it's really, really good and then it's not, right? It's really, really good and then it's not.
They give you moments. It's like M&M's.
Yeah.
Like M&M's.
It's like M&M's and then you get a peanut one in there in a multi-pack or something. It's
I like peanut M&M's, but that's another discussion. But, so, like you said,
oh my God, you're literally
movie,
Just kidding.
This movie really could have benefited from another pass in the writer's room.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have really, if you could have tightened this
Trimmed out like a half an hour of the slowing
at
everything
the very
down.
least 20 minutes.
And,
This
and I
didn't-
see why they did it too, because like Aunt May's like, no, we gotta help these people. When Green Goblin Willem Dafoe comes
Yeah.
in, he's like this confused old man, sort of. He doesn't know. When the Goblin takes over, he doesn't know anything, and Aunt May's like, well, you gotta help him though.
Split personality.
And Peter's like, yeah, but do we really? Is this really our responsibility? She's like, you know what? I trust you to do the right thing. And of course, here's the big spoiler: it costs her life.
Yeah.
And I do like how they gave him the great power, even though it's such a fan servicey member berry sort of moment. They gave him his only we see towards the end that like
Same.
that was his
Uncle Ben
his
moment.
version of Uncle Ben, like was the Aunt May moment when he lost her, because he's there doing the right thing that he wants to be, that he thinks is. So
Great power,
there's
yeah.
there's some good moments there, and then there's some like little eye rolls, and then there's some.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the fence on that one. I'm like, I liked it, but I'm like, it's also an eye roll. It's also an eye roll for me.
Well, you kind of know it's coming.
Yeah, because you know it's coming. It's like, and here it is.
Yeah, and I'm gonna miss hot Aunt May
Yeah. So they kill her off.
and Marissa Tomei. There you go.
Oh, and her and Happy broke up too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's another subplot.
There was actually
so many subplots in this.
There was actually a cool moment though where Happy was sitting there with Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, and because Jon Favreau played Foggy Nelson from Daredevil, the Daredevil comics, in the Ben Affleck movie. So I was like, oh yeah, he's sitting there. The new Daredevil is sitting there with the old Foggy Nelson. Oh, I see that. But so then he catches the break. How did you? I'm a really good lawyer. So that was actually a lot of fun. I like that moment. But again, it gets overly long. It's overly long.
It's been long.
It's good.
Don't watch it if you're in a theater that you have to like climb a bunch of steps to get to the very, very back. That was just way too hot, and I was dying. I was like, can I get some air? I didn't want to step out and miss something.
So
the person next to me kept looking at their clock too. They
like
kept
I
looking at
said,
their phone. They were bored.
Like I said, it did drag, and there's some pacing issues.
There's the sad moments. I don't like the whole sad saying goodbye to character. I didn't like that in Endgame.
No.
And this is kind of one of the things I just didn't enjoy about Endgame was that this heavy message of sad, depressing. It's like, okay, I want a fun little romp. I want something that'll be a little more less serious, less heavy.
Besides setting up the future of Doctor Strange,
And this movie did a lot of that. It did a lot of stopping itself to kind of be like, oh, and we're still breaking the multiverse here. Yeah. There's a lot of consequences for this spell.
But what it also does is it also sets up any future Spider-Man movies, because they show him he gets his own apartment, and he remakes the costume to the more classic red and
he's
blue
out there just being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which is actually pretty cool. And he meets up with and MJ. Come on, it's a cop out. It's Mary Jane. Just say Mary Jane, please. It's Mary Jones Watson. Mary Jones Watson. No, I don't go by Watson. I just go by Jones. And I'm like, oh yeah, come on, really? Yeah, they're 25% different. It's MJ, but it's not really MJ.
I did like how they kind of explained tying them all together, though, so that you don't have to kind of choose.
Oh yeah, these are spy, but they're in the multiverse. That explains the differences. That's kind of, I kind of like that idea, but
I can live with it.
Yeah, but anyway, so like I said, overly long, pacing issues.
I think a lot of people are just gonna enjoy it though. Because it's the cracker again. It's like you're starving. Cracker. You're starving, and you're any food like the crack, like you say.
Eddie Murphy's, damn, that's the best cracker I've ever had. Was that salty? No, that was Ritz. Then after a month, like, hey, I just got some regular old crackers.
Yeah, because you're starving. The cracker you eat is like the best thing in the world, and I think that's what we're doing here. Like we're so starving and so desperate for a good movie after the Eternals, after Shang-Chi was kind of mediocre, and this one isn't even that much better than.
What do we got coming up?
I don't think, but I didn't see the other two, so I can't compare. But I'm hearing that people like it a lot more.
Yeah, and what have we got coming up? Like I said, Fisty McGee. We got Hawkeye, which is a dud.
I don't care about that.
Nobody cares about Hawkeye. That's why it's a dud. The Marvels, like the Bree Force,
TNA Force without any T or A.
Yeah.
So I just Yeah, so I mean, yeah, there's a lot of really enjoyable moments. Like I would almost not see this in the theater if I were, but I think a lot of people are enjoying it despite everything. Like I said, I had to really, really super duper put on my critic hat just to find something to, really, really make sure that I gave you guys a thorough thing other than just turning my brain off and enjoying it this time. And that really, really took me out of the movie was once they started using the term cure and they started using that stuff was kind of like an overt, I just paid $30 for you guys to tell me something in subtext that I'm hearing and bombarded with in every goddamn thing from McDonald's French fry packaging to everything. And it just gets crapping old, alright? So that's what I was hearing because it's everywhere. And I would not be surprised if they put that in deliberately, intentionally everywhere, or if I'm just seeing that because it is everywhere and I'm just reminded of it.
Yeah, I think
so that might be it too. I don't know,
yeah.
But we do know that Hollywood does put a lot of propaganda in their films for, the people, you know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
I Am Mecca. I would probably give this movie about a 6.5 out of 6.5. I might change my score. It's gone up and down. I had it about a 4 for a minute. I had about a 7 for a minute, so I'm gonna stick with a 6.5.
Maybe 3.5 Chewbacca's. Maybe about 3.5 Chewbacca's. Out of 6. So
you said it was about 7 out of 10 normally.
Well, no. Well, like I said, the Chewbacca scale goes from 1 through 5, and then there's a 6 Chewbacca for movies that are so awesome that 5 cannot contain them.
Like Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Spaceballs is 6.
Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi movie, is still the best Spider-Man movie.
How many Chewbaccas was that?
That is actually a 6 Chewbacca movie. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, that's still the best Spider-Man movie. This, I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up over time.
All right, so that's our recap of it. I don't know. If you see it in a much better mood than I was in a much less hot theater, you might enjoy it a little more. If you just kind of turn off the critic brain too, you might not see all that subtext. Like, pretty much nobody else on YouTube is seeing that subtext. So that might just be me seeing it because I have to do a good job on this one.
Yeah.
So, I am Mecca.
And I'm Eli Manning.
Go watch his thing.
Later.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.